What's up guys, it's Niam here and I'm visiting my parents in Thailand at the moment. I want to show you something real cool using my parents' koi fish. And the fish live in that fish pond over there next to me. And the concept I'm about to show you is called classical conditioning or learning by association. And it demonstrates one of the few ways that animals and humans learn to acquire new behaviors, including things like social anxiety and phobias. Let's go check it out. Now for the past few years of keeping this fish pond, my parents have been doing the same thing every single day, and that is to walk over to that side of the pond to feed the fish. Now we were to go back in time to when the pond was first built, back to when the fish were fed for the first time. What we would have noticed is that when my parents stood there next to the pond, ready to feed the fish would have had no response whatsoever to the presence of humans standing next to the pond. Because why would they? It means nothing to them. But as soon as food is thrown into the water, then yes, they get super excited. And an interesting thing happens when this process gets repeated over and over again over many weeks, is that the fish begin to associate the presence of humans standing next to a pond with food and getting excited for food. So what do you think is going to happen if I were to walk over to that side of the pond right now and just stand there? Let's find out. Right, so I'm walking towards the pond. I think they're starting to notice me already. Or they're following me. Check this out. All I'm doing is just standing here with nothing in my hands. Wow. Wish my friends get this excited when they see me. So let me quickly explain to you the mechanism of what you just saw before. How is it possible that fish could get so excited at a sight of a potential predator like a human? So classical conditioning was discovered by a Russian psychologist, Ivan Pavlov, and it works on the principle that you can pair two stimuli together, one which is completely neutral, like a human, with an unconditioned stimulus, or something which is innately or biologically stimulating, like food. And when you pair those two together and you expose it to the subject, through the process of association, the subject begins to react to the neutral stimulus in the same way that it would towards the unconditioned stimulus. And in this case, the neutral stimulus becomes what's called the conditioned stimulus. In the case of the koi fish in the pond, fish have been conditioned to react to a sight of a human in exactly the same way as it would towards something which would be biologically stimulating, like food. So how's this all applicable to us? Well, whether you like it or not, we've been conditioned, just like the fish in the pond, to have behavioral and emotional responses to many things around us in the world. Certain songs may trigger some sort of emotions inside of you because you've associated that song with some event in the past. Certain brands may trigger some sort of emotion. This is exactly how branding and advertising works. You know, if I say the word Starbucks, what does that make you think of? How does that make you feel? Unfortunately, through the same process of association, you can also learn behaviors such as social anxiety. And for example, if you were bullied in high school or you've had repeated negative experiences in social interactions, you may have been conditioned to have a fight or flight response towards social situations. The good news is you can unlearn a lot of these behaviors which have been acquired through association through a process called systematic desensitization. So you see, with these fish in the pond over there, if I were to walk over there right now and stand next to the pond, they would behave exactly the same way as they would just a few minutes ago. But if I were to repeat this process over and over again over the next few days, by going over there to the pond, standing next to the pond and not feeding them food, they would eventually learn to disassociate the presence of humans with the excitement for food. And this process is what's called extinction. And what we want to do through systematic desensitization is to make the behavior or the emotional response associated with, for example, social situations extinct. And you do this by exposing yourself to increasingly larger dosage of things which triggers anxiety. We can start off with something which is small and not threatening. For example, even just imagining yourself in a social situation. And once you become comfortable with that, or in other words, you've caused that reaction to become extinct, then you move up to riskier things. Perhaps you want to make eye contact with a stranger as they walk past you. And once that becomes comfortable for you, then you move up again to riskier things. Perhaps you want to crack a joke in a social situation. And if you keep at it and if you do it systematically, you can pretty much unlearn any behavior that you've acquired through the process of association. And eventually you will find yourself, maybe several months from now, doing things that you would never ever have imagined yourself doing. Perhaps you'll find yourself at a party and you've approached someone you're attracted to and having an amazing conversation with them. Hey guys, thanks for watching the video. I hope it's been useful, informative, and hopefully inspired you to take action. Please don't forget to subscribe, hit the button below, and happy holidays. Until next time.